Markarth has always been one of those cities in Skyrim I pretty much avoid at all costs. But today, I said no more. I strapped up my Dwemer boots and trenched over to the Nexus with the aim to give this dwarven mountain town the character and care it deserves. And in this video, I'm going to go over those very mods which I selected for my own game in order to provide you with an awesome synergy of mods which not only fix Markarth's arguably boring tone, but aims to give its characters and surroundings some life of their own. From the inner halls of long abandoned temples, to every resident, even those in the settlements surrounding. Let's go on a modding trip to Markarth. So join me as we take a look at some of the best and fresh mods out there for Skyrim's City of Dwarves.
I choose this as our goal.
Creatures of none.
All men are kings. If he breeds, he is sick.
Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Your Samson and Broom, all right? Won't be.
This video is sponsored by Mech Arena, a tactical team-based 5v5 shooter that captures the magic of playing with your friends on PC and console on your mobile device. And with a perfect balance of casual pick-up and play fun with skill-based competitive play, Mech offers countless hours of playtime. There are tons of really cool looking mechs, each with their own unique abilities and different playstyles, and each comes with a huge variety of weapons to unlock and upgrade as you play. There are even thousands of ways to customize your mechs with hundreds of awesome skins and custom paint jobs. And along with all the weapon combinations, you can build a mech to fit your playstyle and personality. There are a bunch of game modes like control point capture, 5v5, 2v2 deathmatch, and even tournaments. And right now you can play solo or with your friends against other teams of players around the world. And this month is huge for Mech Arena. First up, it's Battle Pass Season 9 with a ton of rewards and skins to grab. And at the same time, it's Mech Arena's 1 year anniversary, and they've got a packed schedule of special events with some crazy prizes to win, including an awesome new sniper weapon and a new pilot, Archangel. It's completely free to play on Android and iOS right now, and you can use my personal link in the description or scan my QR code to get bonuses worth $25. We're talking 1 Firelight skin, 1 Prodigy crate, and 1 Plasma Cannon 4 to help kickstart your game. And if you're quick, you can add me as a friend under Heavy Burns. Thank you to Mech Arena for supporting the channel, and without further ado, let's get into the video. So we're going to begin outside the city itself and work our way inside throughout the course of this showcase. And thus, it's only fitting to start with the small farming homestead that lies just outside of the city gates. And luckily, we have a singular mod that aims to overhaul the entire area. GG's Markarth Farm takes the rather basic and bland settlement and rebuilds it from the ground up, keeping its original layout the same, but reorganising buildings and walls to make the area feel more lived in, more interesting to visit, and overall just more characterful and pleasing to look at when you're on your way in or out of town. With bustling farm animals, combined with the inclusion of Dwemer steamwork to power its new dwarven grain mill, and the few new building lots included to make the area feel more alive and thriving, the farm now actually feels like an area that you not only will want to visit, but possibly even roleplay as a farmhand or a ranch owner yourself as you build up your own character in a playthrough. And it's not only the surface which has been altered, while the interior of Salvis's farm has not been changed. The mod does add some new underground areas to explore. The main one actually being an underground mushroom farm, which you can visit and stare at, or pillage if you so choose. Overall, GG's Markarth Farm is a great little addition to the outside area of the city, but there's something else which I'm also using in order to enhance it, and honestly all the other new additions later in this video. And that's actually a texture and somewhat mesh replacer, I guess, for all of Markarth's architecture tile set. MRF's Markarth, or Murph's Markarth, retextures basically everything you'll be seeing in order to give it a brighter, whiter, parallax look, while still somehow adhering to the vanilla theme of it being all old, overgrown and dirty, but just now, in my opinion, a more pleasing and high quality style. And along with just the stone walls themselves, the mod also aims to add metal reflections to all of the Dwemer Ruins assets used across Skyrim. Meaning not only will this mod add a whole bunch to really beautify the Markarth city itself, but will also cover all the ruined dungeons scattered amongst the world. Now we're going to move a little further towards the city itself, as now we've got a nice base overhaul to the general look of Markarth's architecture. It's time to actually start to add some of that very architecture to flesh out the lead up to the city. And that begins with a mod from the same author as the farm, titled Markarth Outskirts, which aims to repopulate and restructure the main lead up to Markarth's grand gates in a way which brings life to the city itself. With large sprawling lookout towers littered amongst its cliffsides, its brand new residents, which all have unique and interesting occupations. Markarth Outskirts really helps to add a whole bunch of character to the city, being rid of many of the semi-bland traits it was previously plagued with. For example, not only does it add a whole bunch of new and interesting looking NPCs, but they are all surrounded with new buildings and occupations. Take this new abandoned temple for example, which comes with some nice atmospheric Dibella worshipping goodness, but also a really amazing looking larger chamber, which houses an abandoned tower. Additionally, the residents now have new occupations, such as this East Empire goods building, which also comes along with a new East Empire dormitory to provide lodging for many of its new workers found across the outskirts of the city. And my personal favourite, the Markarth Waste Collectors. Something that might sound kind of silly, but Skyrim really needs some more unique buildings such as this one. And finally, we have the Observatory, rightfully sitting at the peak of the cliffside, which provides a place for Markarth's more inquisitive students to reside. From the quieter, reserved parts of town, to the busier, more involved areas, Markarth Outskirts really adds to this feeling of an important trading and industrialised city, something which Markarth had ample opportunity to lean further into. With its steam-powered dwarven machinery and mechanical inner workings, Markarth has such a good setup to be unique that was never really explored in the base game to the extent I would have liked. So when a mod like this comes out, it really gives you that much needed remedy that Markarth truly needs, and honestly actually makes it one of the more interesting areas to explore and hang out now, and at large part by making use of some new vine and spore assets which really give the area a new flavour you can't find anywhere else in Skyrim. It really does feel like this old bustling dwarven city that has been abandoned, overgrown and repurposed and turned into a 4th era settlement, and adds a lot to the exterior of Markarth, expanding and enhancing it. But with that being said, it's time to move past the city gates into the Dwemer town itself, in order to finalise at least the visual, or I guess environmental design, of this ancient Dwemer city. Now, in preparation for this video, I installed a bunch of different Markarth city overhauls, expanders, redesigners, and either they were all too impactful on FPS that I wouldn't even be able to record with it, or they just felt too busy and forced. So in the end I settled on a mod that just enhances what we already have in a visually appealing way, and it actually makes a huge difference. Blubbos Markarth 2022 is a mod which aims to overhaul the mountainous city by adding a bunch of trees and greenery, and it's actually kind of insane how much of a difference this really makes. And not only does it add all of these trees around Markarth, but other environmental additions have also been made, such as the illuminated swamp pods lining the water streams down the city. And honestly, I just think this mod is really cool. There are a lot of other mods that just add trees to different cities, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But just something about this one feels so at home. It gives me a feeling I always wanted from Markarth, like this old, overgrown Aztec city type thing. And by the way, just to be clear, the trees you're seeing on screen are not replaced based on what tree mods you have installed. These are the trees included in the mod, so every game will look as you're seeing it on screen, minus the ENB and textures of course. So I just think it's a really nice addition to the city, and breathes life into an area that otherwise to me felt kind of boring. Even with its unique style, it was just missing something. And in addition to this, I thought I would show off a small mod which adds a little hidden player home, tucked away behind Markarth's Great Waterfall. Forgotten Grotto is a small unintrusive mod which adds a secret Forsworn cave at the top of Markarth's cliff face, filled with Dwemer pipework, some Forsworn buddies to give you that role-playing opportunity, and all the necessities you will need if you want to roleplay an undercover Forsworn agent living within Markarth. The cave itself is pretty small, with only really one main room which has all of your basic needs taken care of, but just having this option, or roleplaying discovering this camp and eradicating its Forsworn, can be a great touch to a Markarth based playthrough. And at the end of the day, just gives Markarth that final touch of content to enhance the feeling that was already there, in a way that is totally unintrusive, as the entrance is really hard to find, which helps sell the believability of it too. But with that, it's now time to move on to the final mod of this video. Now we've got the whole flavour in Markarth taken care of when it comes to the way it looks. We all know the charm of any Bethesda game is not only its world, but it's the people that reside in it. And so we're also going to use a mod that enhances pretty much every single NPC that lives in and around Markarth. And Markarth Side Refine aims to do just that. Beginning with Markarth's most trusted vendors, they have now been given new appearances to match who they are, what they do, and their background and family. And they really do start to get their own character in just how they appear alone, often reflecting their wealth and occupation, usually in their hygiene or beard style. And it's not only the vendors it covers, all other occupations are also enhanced, reflecting whether they are a blacksmith, an innkeep, just a barmaiden, or a cook in the local tavern. And one thing I particularly like about this mod is it doesn't just make everyone pretty. There are those as and when it makes sense, but often the main goal is to bring out the character through the way they look, and not just their dialogue alone. For example, most beggars or residents of the Warren under the city reflect that in their weight or unkempt hair or beard. And something I particularly like about this mod in specific is it often leans into the Reach Forsworn theme, where the NPCs will be adorned in war paint to fit more in line with the general tone of the Reach being this no man's land overrun with Breton Forsworn with a particular culture you don't see anywhere else in Skyrim. And on the same note, one of Markarth's shining stars has also been enhanced, its Sidna Mine residents, who now each come with their own unique look, which makes the whole quest where you get thrown down into the prison so much more enjoyable when each of the people you have to talk to actually seems interesting and unique. Additionally, it really wouldn't be Markarth without overhauling the looks of each of the priestesses of Dibella, all coming with their own unique looks, which really helps give the whole temple more character, as previously there was maybe only one reason to ever end up there. But now that you can actually tell each of the priestesses apart, it really helps make it more unique and allow you to tell more stories about those individual characters. One of my favourite parts about this mod is the changes it makes to the Silverblood family and friends, actually making them look A, of the same bloodline, which helps, but B, cunning and ever so snobby, depending on who it is of course. But it just helps to separate out the classes in the city and make all of the interactions more memorable, and less of a I can't even remember your name vibe. And the final two sections I'm going to give you a look at is first, the main quest giver NPCs. Those people in the game that already have unique and interesting quests or stories, and this mod just aims to sprinkle a bit of visual diversity between them in order to make those interactions more memorable, even including Aola, the cannibal Namira cultist you can encounter in the Hall of the Dead. And lastly is all the random NPCs you can find surrounding Markarth itself, even including NPCs like Leontius all the way over at Old Heraldon. And overall, this mod is just a must-have. I still can't even really comprehend the scope of it and just how many NPCs it actually covers. So it's great to sweep up and recharacterize the entire Reach through its NPCs. And that's going to do it for this video. I wanted to thank you guys for the support recently, both here on YouTube's and those kind enough to help support the channel over on Patreon, which I've recently been adding new rewards like my full mod list, guides for videos, and much more to come. So you can find links in the description for that if you're interested. And also, I mentioned it briefly in my last video, but me, Sin, and Gim have recently started our own collaborative channel called Tryhard. We've recorded a bunch of episodes already, which can be found over on the Tryhards channel. And stick around, because I'm going to leave you with a trailer we made for the channel. So thank you for watching, and enjoy the not so serious trailer.
Let him speak.
Okay, we have this intergalactic space battle.
With lots of exploding ships.
Yes, exploding ships, and
You don't think that's a bit too much, Gim?
It's a big announcement, Sin.
Yes.
I guess.
And then massive demon gorillas out of nowhere.
Oh,
Okay, now that is a bit too much, Gim.
Bertie, what do you mean?
No. We keep it simple and epic at the same time.
exactly.
Like we get Daniel Hodge to say something epic like, what if 3 Skyrim YouTubers?
What if?
What if?
What if?
What if we...
No, I like that.
Good. So we start with,
What if 3 overly dramatic Skyrim YouTubers who refuse to give up on a 10-year-old game decided that instead of screaming at each other off screen, they tried to monetize it instead. A totally unique concept. 3 young white men with a podcast.
I'm not even white, bro.
Yes, you are.
and isn't Sin like 30 or something?
A totally unique concept. 2 young and 1 slightly older man with a...
Slightly older?
Wait, do I even have a say in this?
Fine! 2 young and 1 extremely wise old wizard decide to start a podcast. And for the first time ever, Gim and Sin finally turn on the camera. Get ready to have all your expectations completely ruined forever. Get ready for the collaboration that absolutely nobody asked for. Get ready for the title reveal of a name that has absolutely no sexual connotations whatsoever. Tryhards.